Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome Mr. Billy Cothran for an invocation at this time.
If you would, let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for your many blessings. We thank you for an opportunity to serve on the board such as this with good people and just a chance to give back to a community that has given to us. So we thank you for those opportunities. Pray as we continue our meeting tonight, pray for wisdom, guidance, and discernment. And may all that we say and we do glorify your name. In your holy name, I pray. Amen.
And thank you, Mr. Cothran. So I'd like to call this meeting of the Spartanburg 1 Board of Trustees to order. If you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you to our trustees, my fellow board members who are here tonight, and district leadership, staff, administration, to everyone who has joined us online, everyone who've given their time to support the children of District 1. We appreciate you joining us tonight. So at this time, we'll proceed with the first agenda item, which includes the chairman's report, which is the consent agenda. And the consent agenda consists of the approval of the agenda, the approval of the board meeting minutes from December the 8th, 2025, the approval of overnight field trips, and the approval of the check registry. So do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda at this time?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Hopper. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Vanderford. We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Are there any questions, any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Being none, passes unanimously. Thank you. So next item on our agenda will be our superintendent's report. Dr. Smith.
Yes, ma'am. Welcome to our community and those joining us here at Spartanburg District 1 and online. We've had a wild last few weeks here with the weather and so forth. We'll get to that in just a second. We want to start with a school spotlight. We've invited Mr. Taylor Deal, our principal at Inman Intermediate, to be here with us tonight. And Mr. Deal this time last year was in Thailand. So, and he is so glad to be back home, and we're thrilled. He hit the ground running with our staff this year, and just really excited about what's happening at Inman Intermediate. Mr. Deal?
So I feel blessed to be here, and I'm thankful, and I'm going to stay here as long as you'll have me, all right? So I'm just going to brag a little bit about our school. Those of you that came, maybe. Yeah. Or did I just do that? I might be working. All right, so those of you that were here for the luncheon at my school, I went over some of these goals. I feel like some of these goals I've already accomplished. I mean we have already accomplished. Some of these goals we're well on our way towards accomplishing, and some we're still working on. But I want to go ahead and talk to you about a few things that we're proud of. Our school report card being number 1. You may not know this, but the last time we had a good rating on our school report card at Inman Intermediate was in 2016. So that was before the era of the report card change and everything. So our teachers are super proud. We're super proud of all the work, the hard work that our students and teachers put in, and administration. They did a great job, and we're wanting to continue this success. Also, I feel like we're doing a great job of having excellence as a mindset. So excellence doesn't come easy, and a mindset of excellence doesn't come easy. And to be very honest with you, I don't think that Inman Intermediate has maintained an idea of excellence or a mindset of excellence. But what we're doing is we're throwing excuses out the window. Sure, we can make excuses all day long with students in poverty, lack of resources, maybe not as much engagement at home. But we can throw those excuses out the window. And ask the question, I actually challenge our teachers to have a chip on their shoulders and ask the question, why not us? Why not our students? Because they deserve it, right? So that's one thing that I've really promoted this year. I want to have a growth mindset throughout the year, and we can make little adjustments. We don't have to move mountains, but when we make little adjustments, it can make a big difference. So we can move mountains. So that's one thing we're really focusing on, and I'm proud of because we've had a great start on that. And then promoting positive behavior. A lot of our attention is given to those negative behaviors or those students that don't meet expectations. So what we're doing is we're turning it a little bit. We're focusing a ton on these positive behaviors. We have a leaderboard at school where we're focusing on students that do great big things for us, but also simple things like our resource officer, Officer Snow, that has snow bucks, carries them around in his pocket, and he sees a student pick up trash that's not theirs. He offers them snow bucks, and they can redeem that for rewards. So highlighting students in that way. Mustang Pride Notes Home. That's one of my favorite things to do. At the end of a week, if I can sit down and write handwritten letters to students, and it's not students that did these great big old things or big gestures. It might be a student that's quiet and keeps his head down every day in the classroom and works hard. And I want to make sure I acknowledge that because I want it to continue, and he deserves it. He deserves to go to the mailbox, open up the mail, and see something from his principal, and his parents deserve that as well. So we want to make sure we continue those shout-outs. And then, of course, shout-outs on the intercom. They like to hear their name and come up and get a reward at the end of the day. We provide service opportunities for those students that are being positive or having positive behavior. So they can be mentors, work on our flag patrol, on the news program, or on the morning announcements. So we like to continue to reward those students as well. We have an incredible program, if you don't already know about it. It's Mustang Mentors. Miss Risk, pictured on the right there, holding a flag we actually received this morning as the State Unified Champion School. And we are actually expecting a national recognition soon as well, which we received 5 years ago. One of only 2 schools in the entire state to receive that, by the way. But it's a great program where our mentors, our gen ed students, can mentor the mentee, which is in Miss Risk class. It's our self-contained class. And so what do we get out of this program? Well, our mentees, they have belonging. They develop skills, academics, social interactions. And then our mentors, they get to understand what inclusion truly is and to be an inclusive school. They become leaders. They understand compassion for those that maybe aren't as gifted as they are in certain areas. And of course, they gain perspective throughout the process. I do want to thank you. You in this program, you approved a field trip to Atlanta. So we're looking forward to that in the spring where our mentors and mentees get to go together to the aquarium. And also they get to go to Coca-Cola factory. And this is another area where I feel like we've excelled. Our community involvement, we really stepped this up. We saw it as an area of need. Our School Improvement Council has more than doubled. So we have a lot of contributors to the overall decisions that we make at the school. Our PTO has increased. Our parent involvement has increased. We bring in the high school students quite often as an example for our students, whether it's the band, the ROTC, a football team coming to play football at recess with some of our students. We have some parent coffees coming up in the spring where we get to talk about adolescence, and we're going to have one on internet safety for our parents to be educated on some of these from experts. Grade level projects coming up where we have parents that are coming in this spring. Each grade level is going to host parents for an activity during the day, during the school day. So we're going to bring them in our building during the day. We got away from this stuff during COVID, right? And we became stagnant. So it's nice to be able to do this again and have parents back in. We've already had a movie night, going to have another color run, also a school picnic that I look forward to. Just involve in the community as much as possible. And then lastly, we're really proud of our academic vocabulary success. We saw this as a need as we looked at our iReady data and SE Ready data. just our exposure to vocabulary. So not only do we have initiatives within the classroom, but we have a school-wide initiatives. And this is literally the favorite part of my day. I go around hiding these vocabulary words that we get from our standards, our ELA standards. But these are verbs. These are verbs that you will see all throughout all content areas on the end of the year assessment. So we hide these. Students are able to find them throughout the day. They bring them up to the office at the end of the day. They're hearing it twice a day on the morning and afternoon announcements, and then they bring it up and give us the definition, use it in a sentence, and they get prizes for that. So it's been a lot of fun, and we are reaping the reward from these activities. So I just want to talk just a second about where we're going from here. There's some things that we still want to focus on. Number one is becoming data literate. I want our teachers to be able to talk globally and granularly about data. Globally, so they know where we're going as a school and how it connects to our overall vision, but also granularly, not within their own subject, but within each student's ability and each domain for each student. So getting as, I guess, as tight on that scope as we can just on this data to make sure we understand our students. A great example of this is mid-year, we got our iReady data. And what we've done is we help teachers look at their data, understand their data, and now they've created strategies to move forward throughout the rest of the year. We put pen to paper and have created 2 or 3 strategies per teacher according to their own specific needs to where they're going to actually be able to move the needle just a little bit in their own classrooms. And then we as instructional leaders can go around and inspect what we expect. So we're excited about that and just to see how the needle moves. Differentiation. Now just imagine you're a teacher that walks into a classroom every day of 20 to 25 learners, and they could literally be on 20 to 25 different levels on the content you're about to teach. That's a tall task. So our teachers need PD. They need to understand how to be able to do that better. This is an area where we always should have a growth mindset and get better and better every day. Each student has their own learning preferences, modalities, and understanding. So we have to meet those needs as teachers. And so differentiation is the only way to do that. This is one example that I want to give. Some of you got to see this at the luncheon. We had 2 students that presented a passion project. We've had more since then, but these are our higher level learners. A lot of times the lower level learners get a lot of our attention. So we want to focus on all learners. That's true differentiation. So those students that excel, they're taking part in passion projects where they are particularly passionate about something. They do their own research, create their own modality to be able to present that and present that to their class and share new information with their classmates. And lastly, engagement. So we have a lot of things vying for the attention of our students, whether it's electronics, instant gratification. And to be quite honest, most school systems aren't built like that. So we have to meet them where they are. We have to engage these hard to engage students. So that's one area that we're going to continue to grow in. I love that quote there, but you can't see it, but the last line says, involve me, and then I'll learn. So we're going to involve students in their learning, make sure they are actually engaged, and doing our best to make sure, because as you can see on that second bullet point there, we have higher outcomes, higher grades. They can retain the information and improves overall critical thinking skills. So those are the things that are going to help us move the needle in years to come. So I want to thank you for an opportunity to work in such a fantastic district. I want to thank you for trusting me to be able to move the needle at Inman Intermediate School. And again, we're going to make some small changes, but we're going to have some big differences, okay? So thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Mr. Deal. Very proud of the work going on at Inman Intermediate. There's a lot of momentum there from last year now into this year. Always go over there and you see smiling faces, always, and that's encouraging. But to know y'all digging deep on their data to really push the student achievement is just showing you where the laser-like focus we have this year on our kids and their achievements. So thank you so much. Appreciate that. Moving on with my report, I have a special presentation, and it's to all 9 of you. January, y'all are aware we don't have a school board meeting that month. But it is School Board Appreciation Month. And at this time, we would like to present each of you with a bag that you've probably, hopefully already found. It's either behind you, or I see one under Coach Skinner's foot. I don't know if it's like Easter egg hunt or not, but you should have one near you. And in that bag is from the school district. Thank you there, Miss McDowell, modeling that. But there's a few things in there for you, a couple of District 1 swag items, a T-shirt, and then a 3/4 pullover that I really hope you enjoy. Paul has worked very hard on that, and I thank her for doing that. And then a special gift from students from Inman Intermediate, a ceramic art piece that they made for you. So this is a thankless job. The 3 new board members, you'll quickly see it's a thankless job. You know it's unpaid. And y'all just put so much time in. And you really are unsung heroes. And I don't give you the recognition you deserve, and I know you don't ask for it, but I just want to take a minute here to thank each of you, because it is tireless work. Think about all the hours we put into the building project, all of the countless meetings that went into that we as a team pulled off, and that does not happen without leadership from this school board. So we're very grateful. The administration is very grateful for you, and we thank you for your service. It is the local and most great thing about our government in this country, local control to where you have say and our people have say. So y'all just do a tremendous job. I thank you. You are easy to work with. I appreciate that. All you got to do is look online and just Google school boards. And you can come up and see some wild stuff. And we're very blessed that we have a body here that puts our children first. And that's the bottom line. This body, they don't put the superintendent first. They don't put the principals first or the staff first, and they shouldn't. They put the students first. And y'all do a great job of that. And you do a great job of showing up, come to your meetings, and giving your opinion. This board does a great job. I think your strength is accountability. You hold me accountable. That is your strength. And that's what the board's job is, to hold the district accountable, because we're not perfect people. And y'all do a great job of asking the right questions. And I never thought I have the best ideas. My strength is listening to smarter people than myself, and it's not hard to find that. But y'all are a great, strong group. And we really do try to enact your ideas into our district. So thank you so much, and it's a small token of our appreciation, but I would like to give them a round of applause. Thank you. All right, next, I actually do have a presentation. I would like for Chairperson McDowell to join me at the podium for a special presentation. Don't get to do this very often. We have one of our own that has earned a School Board Association pin of 25 years of service. I know everybody's running the math real quick. So for our new board members, you've got 1 meeting down and 25 years to go. So we have 10 meetings a year. So I think that's going to be 250. You got 249 more meetings. So, and that's just the board meetings. That doesn't count the work sessions and all that. So, so David's about to run out the door. Don't go anywhere, Mr. Green. It's going to be fine. But would Mark Rollins please join me at the podium? Mark, the School Board Association would like to present you through myself and Ms. McDowell your 25-year pin. Big round of applause for Mr. Rollins. Favorite thing I appreciate Mark is he and I are very similar. We just refuse to pass up on a meal. We just won't do it. Like if there's a meal to be there, Mark and I are there. The only time that I'll pass it up is at the School Board Association conference. he had me meet him for breakfast one morning, and I loved it. It was great. And I thought it was going to be free. I thought it was part of what we've already paid. And then I get a $30 bill for breakfast. I'm like, Mark, I can't roll with you high rollers anymore. So be careful with that association breakfast. It's not free. That's my That's funny. All right. Now I would like to thank y'all for that. I would like to now get you to pull. I've got an executive summary for you. I dropped it in your board packet, and I wanted you to have a physical copy tonight. And this is what I was talking about when I was talking about what a great job y'all do. This was one of your ideas from my evaluation this past year, was to incorporate a way better to, in a summary fashion, notify the board of what's going on and also the community. So what you're going to start seeing each one of my superintendent's report, and we are going to link this online as well after the meeting and the next day to where our public can see it. But there's 6 areas we're going to address each month: curriculum, finance, communications, human resources, student data with accountability, and operations. So this is our first run at it. You know, if you have suggestions or comments, I'd be glad to take those at a later date. But I do appreciate this because I think this was an excellent idea. Looking at our curriculum, very excited to talk about how we're coming out of the snow ice days. Y'all all know we missed 6 days of school. We had 5 e-learning days. We had 1 makeup day this week. We had 1 school closed day that we will make up. We will release that this Wednesday when we're going to make that up. It'll be on the March 6th date. That's no secret. That's a teacher work day. We will make that day up there. But I was really concerned over break as we were working here at the district office to make sure, because 6 days of instruction is a lot. And my mind kind of negatively went back to Helene last year, and I thought, ooh, we missed 7 days for that. So I was very anxious of how can we get our principals to get our teachers to hit the ground running. So we had 3 different Zoom or Google Meet calls over that time with all of our administration and our principals. And I had each principal develop a plan to return to learning because we had so much momentum the first semester. When I say we're laser-like focused on student achievement here this year, I think we started that last year. Well, this year it's been really amped up. And I did not want to lose that momentum. So I had Ms. Center and Josh and myself and others of our district office team, Dr. Beeson, and we had our principals prepare us this plan to return to learning. It addressed the learning gaps following the e-learning disruptions. In the schools, I was so proud of what they came up with. They're going to prioritize our essential standards. They're going to strengthen our bell-to-bell instruction, adjust our pacing guides, use spiral review, and strategically utilize our support staff along with classroom observations to continue our improvement. So all of our teachers, our principals, pushed out their plan to get them ready to return last week. And we have hit the ground running. So, and like Taylor was saying a while ago, this is not an excuse district. Okay, we missed 6 days. I don't want to hear about that. I want to hear how we're going to go make up for that lost time, because you can do it. There's always some low-hanging fruit in a schedule. There's always some things we can move around. So very proud of our staff for doing that. Also with curriculum, I would like to point out we had an AI day on January 5th. That was a teacher work day. Our curriculum instruction department hosted a district-wide virtual professional learning day. And our AI lead teachers facilitated this with Magic School sessions, and the teachers were able to earn Magic School Level 1 AI certification. And that was, again, taught by our AI lead teachers that Dr. Pryor has been working with, and those teachers have been going forth. We have an AI lead at each school to work with the teachers. So that was an encouraging day on January 5th. Moving on to finance. Finance W-2s were distributed on January 23rd and 2026. Thanks to Lacey and her team. I've already done my taxes. Thank you, Lacey, for y'all getting those out real quick. They had several accuracy checks with our software consultants, so they were really focused on making sure what we produced was extremely accurate, so I'm proud of that. They had required food service monitoring. It was completed, and all of our schools passed. There was an upgrade for door hardware for all of our schools that was awarded to Cook and Boardman, and we used a $405,000 state safety grant for that. Board will be interested in this Thursday. The construction consultant for our bond projects, that is going for interview this Thursday. So that is a big procurement update for our construction consultant. And then also we got some good news from the feds. Title I and Title II funding became available in January, allowing claims for July to December of 2025 after the district had initially covered these expenditures. So that was really good news. On to communications. Y'all know Jada, she never does anything. She's just been having her feet kicked up and nothing going on. That's not true. Communications has shared multiple measles notifications throughout the district and community from the South Carolina Department of Public Health and managed multiple days of winter weather messaging. And y'all saw in my text messages, there's a lot that goes into that. It's not lightly done. I meet with the other 6 superintendents in the county. We labor over it. We drive a lot of roads. Our staff has never been more ready for regular school to return because we've worked these folks sitting in here. They all had routes. We are all driving the roads every day to make sure they were going to be safe. A lot of work went into that, and then Jada would get together with transportation and other administrators and develop the messaging. And the department communicated specific road impacts to family for the first time. So the first time ever for us, we actually didn't send buses on certain roads, because if we waited till the roads were all clear of ice, we might have just returned to school Monday. We were able to get ahead. We probably got a 3-day head start back to school because we were able to put out a list of roads. The only way to get that list is to go drive it. And I drove one road up in Dark Corner, and I cannot remember the name of it. It was, wow. I was holding on, and I was like, "There's no way a bus is Go Forth Road," and I was like, "Wow." So when you're riding them yourself, you see exactly where we are, and our team so graciously did that and worked together to pull that off. But we were able, as a team, to get our kids back in school because we were able to come together with that plan. Human resources, the district for 26-27 staffing cycle has strong retention. The staffing survey went out from Dr. Beeson and her team. We surveyed 671 employees, and so far we've received 632 plan to return. That is 94%. Now that's not contract signed. That is just non-binding, but that's somebody saying, "I'm planning on coming back." That's 94%. That's impressive. That's very impressive. So thanks to Dr. Beeson and her team for that. A small number of those that aren't returning are retirements. There's some just non-returners, and then follow-up conversations will guide our contract issuance and succession planning and targeted recruitment during the upcoming personnel planning meetings that we had planned for the snow time, but I believe we're making them up tomorrow and Wednesday. So all of that is well underway. Moving on to student data, Mr. Loso with our accountability. Interim data was analyzed to identify skill gaps, and you heard Mr. Deal speak of this a while ago. We looked at the skill gaps preventing students from advancing achievement levels. Principal received targeted analysis to support small group interventions and focus instruction on high-impact skills. And that was why I was so excited to bring Mr. Loso on as the Chief of Accountability, because Mr. Loso provides this data for our principals. Principals work a very tough job. They do not have a lot of free time to go pull data. Now we have somebody here at the district office that just spoon feeds it to them. And then the principal can then give it to the teacher. So really excited about what we've been able to do with Mr. Loso and his job this year. From that, we've learned in our attendance instruction meetings that we were refined to prioritize the special ed education subgroup and evaluate our different instructional modalities, delivery methods, and effective learning time. So everything we've looked at is how can we remove barriers, maximize instruction, and strengthen consistent, high-quality instruction. So every other week we have an AIM meeting. You can't do anything with these people without an acronym. An AIM meeting is attendance and instruction. Y'all know our two goals this year, student achievement and attendance. So every other week as a leadership team, we pull in various principals to keep our eyes on the prize. So now we've noticed that we do have some struggles in the area with special education with our students' achievement there. So now we're digging down deeper and really getting granular, to use another LOSO word, that we're looking at how we can positively improve their achievement. So I'm telling you, next year, guys, it's going to be this year is going to be a banner year. I'm going to go ahead and call it. I believe in our team. The report cards next year could be really special because our teachers and our principals and our staff are really, really, really attacking every part of our children's education. Is so exciting times. Last but not least, I want to talk about operations. Before I do that, I want to thank every maintenance and grounds crew member of District 1. We would not have been in school as early as we were without that crew. And I also want to give a shout out to my district office staff. I texted out the group, wear boots and bring jackets and gloves. And lots of our district office staff helped our maintenance crew. We have a very small staff. We have a very small maintenance and grounds crew. So there's men and women in this room that got shovels. Some of us are getting too old for that. But that ice, I'm telling you right now, 2 inches thick. 2 inches thick. And when it did not see sun, but I just appreciate so much what Jason and Craig's team did to get our students back instruction. So I wanted to start with that. I'm not going to steal Jason's thunder. He's going to give a great update tonight about the building project. I also want to give a shout out, like Jada did as well in her report. Cross-department planning improved our communication during our winter weather, included a development of a more comprehensive list of our roads impacted by ice. So the next time we do have an ice or snow event, we've got a much better plan to know what roads to go check so that we can communicate out to our people. Additional work was included in purchasing, y'all don't like this, a concession trailer for Chapman High School. And if y'all think back to our talk with the capital budget this past year, since my short time here of 3 years, when we go to a softball, baseball game at Chapman, the 3 complaints you hear are parking is too far away, there's no bathroom, and the concession stand's too far away. Well, this year, because of the board's work, you have addressed all 3. The parking this year, we're going to open up the softball gate, okay? People can park in the U. We're going to let them park up on the grass near the weight room. We're going to bring the parking closer to our people so they can walk in. We are also, the board graciously allowed us to buy one of those nice porta potties, the mobile ones, the mobile restrooms that we're going to have. We already have it. We used it this fall for our tennis players and parents at Landrum, and they loved it. So we're going to haul her on down the road. You know, we don't mind hauling around here, right? We're going to haul her down the road and have that set up at Chapman softball, baseball field. And now with this concession trailer, our guest will be able to go to the bathroom, will get something to eat, and not park 2 miles away. That's an exaggeration, or park a long way away. So just listening to the needs and concerns of the community, I appreciate the board allowing us to do that. So Jason and his team have pulled that off. And I believe that concludes my executive summary. I'll take any questions. Ms. McDowell, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Wow, very excited about that. Thank you, Mr. Dill, for your remarks and the work that you're doing there for Inman Intermediate. We appreciate you. Mr. Rollins, congratulations. Congratulations on behalf of the board. Glad that you're here still. Looking for 25 more years for you. That's right. Dr. Smith, excellent executive summary. So we have a thorough view of the district for not only us, but also the community and all of our constituents. And so I appreciate that. Just wanted to make sure that you know that. And to your staff and administration and the pictures we received and the communication we received and all the hard work that everybody did to make sure our kids, we put our safety first. Kudos, congratulations. It's top notch. So I was so proud to be a part of this district. So we honestly appreciate your work.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. All right, so number 3 on the agenda is public participation. And being that there is no public participation, we will move on to item number 4, which is the curriculum report with Miss Erica Center. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Smith. It is my honor and privilege tonight to share just a few things that are that's going on in curriculum. So what's cooking in curriculum? So you'll see in front of you, you have a little baggie with 2 chocolate chip cookies in it with a little measuring spoon.
Miss Center, I do not have a bag of cookies. Just note.
Noted. Noted. Yes, sir. They're good cookies, too. And so tonight, I'd like to use the analogy of baking and what making a cookie requires. It requires a recipe. It requires cooking techniques. And it also requires a baker, a chef, someone in the kitchen that puts all of those things together to make a final product. It also requires taste testing. So some of the things that we do in curriculum, we taste test things. There's things that we want to change or tweak within our recipes. So where do we start? Well, we start with ingredients. So our ingredients, the key ingredient, is the South Carolina State Standards. That is how our students are measured. So that is where we start our recipe. We also look at highly qualified instructional materials, which we have recently adopted. We adopted our ELA HMH curriculum 2 years ago, so that we are in the 2nd year of implementation for using HMH. And we are in the 1st year of implementation with using Reveal Math. So we begin with state standards and highly qualified instructional materials. And then we move to targeted instructional support for teachers in District 1. And these are the people that bring the product together. They bring that cookie together. So administration, our reading coaches in all elementary schools. We're very blessed to have reading coaches in all of our elementary schools, which are partially funded through the South Carolina State Department as support with our Read to Succeed Act that states that all students by the end of 3rd grade should be reading on grade level. So our State Department does support a portion of our reading coaches' salary at the elementary schools. We are super excited about secondary coaches. We have 1 middle school coach and 1 high school coach this year. That's been very well received. We're seeing some great results from those 2 secondary coaches. And then we also have content area lead teachers. We have curriculum leads. We have teachers that make up our pacing guide teams that help us determine what makes up the best recipe for our ingredients. We have fine art leads, and we also, as Dr. Smith alluded to in his executive summary, we have AI leads. So how do our reading coaches and our instructional coaches support instruction? They assist in creating and leading pacing guide development. So we take all of those key ingredients and we use those ingredients to construct a pacing guide. And what is a pacing guide? A pacing guide is exactly what it says. It paces out the instruction for the school year so that you're not spending as much, everybody is spending 4 weeks on a unit. It gives teachers specific instructions on how to teach and how long to teach material. Sometimes it can get very easy to maybe spend too much time on one unit. So especially if you're a new teacher to District 1 or maybe a new teacher to the grade level, a pacing guide really helps support a common language within our district. They also help with professional development. They help with dissecting data and differentiated instruction and small group instruction. And our coaches also help with a term called coaching cycles. And what a coaching cycle looks like is where an instructional coach or a reading coach would go in and assist with planning, modeling, team teaching, or observing. So let's say that maybe the recipe calls for carefully folding in the chocolate chips so that the batter doesn't deflate. Well, you might need to help me understand the strategy of folding. So I may need to see you fold the chocolate chips. Show me how to do it. So an instructional coach or a reading coach may model strategies for teachers. They may team teach strategies with teachers, or they may help a teacher just by observation, particularly with small group instruction. When a teacher is at a small group table, an instructional coach or a reading coach can help gather data on what are the other students doing, because the teacher only has 2 eyes. So that extra set of hands and eyes really helps support them. We also share our secret ingredients. So my cake would probably look like the one on the left, and someone else's would look like the cake on the right. So one of the things that we do, and this is new this year, in the past, our reading coaches, instructional coaches, we've had meetings, monthly meetings, but in the past we've held those at the district office. So one of the new strategies this year is that we've hosted our reading instructional coaches meetings at schools. And every coach has a spotlight. So when we meet at their school for the month, they choose something that they want to spotlight. So if there's an area where your cake looks like the cake on the right and mine looks like the cake on the left, that is an opportunity to share out what you're doing. Maybe I followed everything on the pacing guide, but I just did not get the same results. It is an opportunity for them to share out and spotlight. Because I will tell you, being a reading coach or an instructional coach, it is you're living on an island. It can be a lonely job. There's no one else in your building that is an instructional coach or a reading coach. So opportunities for them to come together are invaluable. So in those meetings, we've looked at creative ways to dissect data. We've looked at ideas to celebrate data. And we've looked at ideas for coaching cycles. So we actually go into classrooms and observe what a coaching cycle looks like. We see coaches in action. That has been a very, very powerful tool. So not only do we share our secret ingredients, we also share our recipes with others. So as we've created our recipe cards and our pacing guides, you know, sometimes you'll see on your cookie, you have a little measuring spoon. Because based off of data and your group of students, it may require a cup of something versus a tablespoon of something. So the pacing guide may call for a tablespoon, but with your particular group of students, based off your data, you see that maybe you need to give it a cup. And so that also comes with experience, you know, being a veteran teacher and just knowing how to change up the recipe and maybe give it a pinch of salt to give it a little extra flavor. So we want to provide an opportunity for some of our superstar teachers to share their recipes with others. And so this year, for the very first time, we hosted the D1 Empower Conference on October the 10th. We had 45 sessions of professional development by some of the very best. These are just a few of the items that were showcased that day. Strategies for multilanguage learners, strategies for behavior intervention, small group instruction strategies, AI Magic School. The list could go on and on. It was a phenomenal day in Spartanburg District 1 on October the 10th. And, you know, those teachers that led those sessions, it was second to none. Those teachers that attended had raving reviews, better than any conference they'd ever been to. And so we want to replicate that and continue with that strategy. On January the 5th, as Dr. Smith alluded to, we did have AI Day, which was created and led by our AI leads on a virtual choice board. So on October the 10th, we were face-to-face in a conference-style setting. And then on January the 5th, it was a virtual day that was set up in a style of choice board.
No, we were at work that day. It was just
Yes.
our primary teachers were getting letters training. Everybody else was on campus that day. It was disseminated virtually.
Yes.
Didn't want anybody
As
to think
high
we were
school
at home.
teachers, well, we had, and I failed to mention, on the October Professional Development Day, we hosted that at Chapman High School. And so we felt like high school teachers, as they're coming back from winter break, they have a new group of students. So it's almost like the first day of school for second semester for those kids. So we felt like instead of us kind of impeding on their space that day, that they may appreciate us offering more of a virtual style PD on that day. Thank you for clarifying that, Dr. Smith. And so we always know we've never arrived as a baker, a chef. We've got lots of work to do in the kitchen. And so some of the things that we are continuing to write a recipe for, so the things that we're continuing to taste test. In science and social studies, you've heard me talk a lot about ELA and math pacing guides. So, you know, we've been working on that for a while, for years. And so I feel pretty strong about our ELA and math pacing guides in K through 8. And I feel like we can replicate that in science and social studies. So that is one area for growth in the curriculum department, and one of the things that we are going to continue to cook and bake. In secondary, ELA curriculum team, they are building the protected text. And so what that means is we are developing a list within HMH novel studies of 6th grade text, 7th grade text, and 8th grade text, so that we're not replicating. So we're building the protected text for our middle schools and for our honors curriculum. We've had a 6 through 8 pacing guide, but our honors curriculum could use a little work. So one of the things they've been working on this year is kind of beefing up that honors curriculum within those pacing guides. Also, the same for math, looking at the math curriculum team and beefing up that honors curriculum. U.S. History and Biology 1 EOC focus groups, they've been working on curriculum guides and common benchmarks. And I will say in secondary, they're still early in those phases. So we really don't have a cookie or a final product to show you guys tonight because we're still taste testing and writing those recipes. But there will definitely be more information to come in regards to that as we move forward. So some very exciting things happening in the curriculum department, and I'm very blessed to be a part of this process. Thank you. And I'll take any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Center. Anyone have any questions for her? Don't y'all feel like y'all know how to bake a cookie now?
And Dr. Smith, I'll definitely get you some cookies after the meeting.
It's okay. I don't need them.
Ms. Center, we appreciate
Thank you so much.
Literally, I feel like I have had a class in the curriculum course, and I will definitely remember it every time I eat a cookie. I appreciate you.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. All right. Next is our personnel report with Dr. Beeson.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. You have the personnel report that was in your packet. At this time, I would ask that you approve the retirements that will be effective at the end of the 2025 to 2026 school year.
All right. So we have received the retirements in our board packet. You've heard the recommendation on behalf of the administration for the retirements, and they were listed all in your board packet. Is there a motion to approve the retirements?
I move that we approve the retirements as listed in the board packet.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Catherine. Is there a second?
I move to second.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. Is there any discussion? Discussion? All right. All those in favor of approving the retirements as indicated in our board packets, if you will signify by saying aye. All those opposed, say nay. All right, unanimously approved. Dr. Beeson, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I would also ask that you approve the resignations that were also listed in your packet to be effective at the end of the 2025-2026 school year.
All right, we've heard the recommendation on behalf of the administration for the resignations listed in your board packet. Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve the resignations in our board packet.
Thank
The
you.
retirements. Which was it?
Resignation.
It's a resignation.
Yeah, resignation. Okay,
Yeah,
got it right. Okay,
resignations.
thank you. Thought I'd missed it there. Thank you.
All right. All right, is there a second to approve the resignations?
I second.
Thank you so much. Mr. Gremlin, any other discussion on anything? Questions? All right, all those in favor of approving the resignations as listed in your board packet, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Ayes have it. Unanimously approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr.
And
Beeson.
finally, Madam Chairperson, as promised, I would ask that you approve the employments that were also listed in your board packet for the 2026-2027 school year.
We're moving fast. It's great. All right, we have a recommendation from the administration to approve the employment for the 26-27 school year. So do I have a motion to approve the new employment?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we accept the new hires for the coming year.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rollins. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Skinner. Any discussion this time? Okay, all right. All those in favor of approving the new hires for the 26-27 school year, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. It's approved. Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you very
Beeson.
much.
Appreciate you. That's good news already. All right, that's really good news. Up next is the policy report with Dr. DJ Brown.
Board, I would like to, while DJ takes the podium, DJ, do we win tonight?
Did not come out on the winning end tonight, but it's okay.
I want to
Had a
let
great
the board,
season.
I do want to let the board know that Dr. Brown at Campobello Grambling this year we were not able to find a boys coach, and so Dr. Brown stepped up on his own to coach our boys and had a wonderful season. And you promised me we were going to win tonight.
I did.
Oh my gosh,
Gotta
you're
be
almost
mindful of
cocky
making
about it.
promises I can't keep.
But I do want to thank him. Alex Smith, our athletic director at Landrum, stepped up to coach our girls. So that was 2 staff members that went above and beyond the call of duty to give our children at CGS a wonderful experience. And they really both had good years. I mean, DJ did a really good job. But he was worried about not getting here on time. And I just thank you. I'm glad you're here safely. And I do appreciate you working with our kids. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Dr. Smith. Yeah, it was a privilege and honor for sure this year. A newfound empathy for young coaches that have young kids too, let me tell you. But I'm pleased to report or present the policy report for tonight for the first readings for the remainder of Section E. Okay, the remainder of Section E as well as Section F. So I know there were a lot of policies to look at, to review, and lots of probably thoughts if you need any conversations about anything. I appreciate you kind of, giving those to me about any kind of small edits or anything like that. I appreciate, Madam Chair, kind of you upstreaming that and everything. But I'm willing to entertain any types of questions or comments regarding these specific policies for, again, this is the remainder of Section E. and Section F. And again, this is just for a first reading tonight.
Dr. Brown, I have a question
Sure.
on ED.
Okay.
And I think I called and I talked to you about this on the phone. In the second
Sure.
paragraph, could you define, I have a concern about the statement for extremely limited personal use.
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned about that statement.
Okay.
Is there something that you could,
Well, I would
what does
probably.
that mean, in other words?
I would probably yield to that last statement of developing a procedure on behalf of the superintendent, developing maybe procedure or administrative rule regarding that, if that were to be kept for the extremely limited personal use. There could be the development that so there is oversight from an administrative standpoint about what that looks like. I would say that, again, we're trying to make sure that if that presents itself in various situations, that it's none of our equipment or materials loaned out to obviously private individuals. And that's why, and even kind of talking to Madam Chair today, there was a clause in there to put in, however, district staff may request to utilize the equipment for educational purpose only or for extremely limited personal use. So there could be the development of an administrative rule regarding that to make sure that we have complete oversight in regards to our equipment and what is district owned.
This is the model policy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
It is.
I'm okay with it striking out limited personal use. I'm not sure why it would ever need to be limited
That's
personal
my
use.
concern. I can just see
I
a
think
can
we
of
could move
worms
to
being
strike
opened
that.
with that.
We could strike it, and we could put in there for educational purposes only. That way, in the event that you have a teacher, maybe in the ag program or something, that maybe would utilize district-owned equipment as on behalf of their curriculum or their instruction to be able to use that as supplemental material or something, they could do that. But we could strike it.
I just think the personal use is,
Yeah,
I just don't agree with that.
I think you end it with the educational.
Okay.
I had that listed also. If it's used for educational purposes, it wouldn't be personal use anyway, would it?
Correct. You're right. Yes, sir.
I just think it may open the door for somebody.
Yeah,
to-
I think that's an easy strike. We got it.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions?
Sorry, Madam Chair.
That's all right. You're good. You're good. I do want to say that I appreciate the board, really reaching out to Dr. Brown as we fast track, or as we really emphasize our policy and updating our policies. And so thank you so much for being attentive. And,
Yes, ma'am.
And I appreciate the board for really staying in touch with Dr. Brown with your comments and suggestions and additions.
And Dr. Brown, will you take us through a timeline of the rest of the
Yes.
semester?
Absolutely. So tonight we'll do the first readings, of course, for the remainder of this section E and section F. And then, of course, in March, we'll plan to do the we'll do the second readings for section E and section F and finalize these. And then going into the April meeting on April 20th, we'll do portions of section G. And the reason why I say portions is because portions of section G involves personnel, and it is very robust. Okay, it's a lot of sections in that. I'm sure you've seen in the board policy manual online. And then going into May, whatever sections or whatever portions of section G we do, we'll have those up for a second reading. If there's any other pertinent ones that we feel like we need to address between now and the end of the school year, though, we can definitely do that, because things could potentially pop up, and we'll bring it to the board for a reading and for a potential adoption.
One question, and this may have been because I was trying to do everything on my iPhone.
Yes.
When we get the updates from you,
Yes.
we're able to go out on that and physically put our suggestions on that?
Yes.
Because I know I called you, and
Yes.
I called you because I was looking at my iPhone.
Yes.
And I didn't realize that I could do
Yes.
that.
Yes, we can
So-
do that, and I would just encourage it kind of be the direct conversation towards
Gotcha.
me as administration, and it not look collaborative, if you will. But
Okay.
those recommendations would go straight towards me from each individual board member.
Right.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
So
Document
if I,
it.
when I enter that in there, any suggestions, like if I had put, I'd like to see that sentence removed,
Would see that. Yes, ma'am.
I would see that, and everybody else sees that also?
Yes,
See
viewers
what I do,
could see
and
that.
I
Yes.
see what Billy does, and.
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
This is on the landing page you
Yes,
created,
sir. Yes,
correct?
sir.
Yes,
Did
yes.
everybody got that link?
Yes, sir.
I
just
thank
wanted to make
DJ
sure.
for
But my
that.
problem was I was trying to do it, I thought I could do everything on my iPhone,
Yes.
and you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, we realize that
Good
it
point.
is, it's
Yeah.
from your
Yeah.
computer.
Okay,
Madam
All
Chairman,
right, thank you.
comment on this
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
I was not familiar with the sheet that Wanda made, and I knew what the purpose was, and I tried to do it, and I got the first two and sent them, and they appeared on the side, and I thought, I'm gonna knock this out in an hour. Well, not true. And then
It's all right, Mr.
I
Branford.
finished the other ones, and I sent them, and I was feeling great, and then I looked back at them, and it just said that, it didn't put what I had, it just said that it was not accepted. It was, and I thought, if I continue exploring, I'm liable to delete the entire computer.
No, it's not possible to. I
in the
promise you to
district.
screw it up.
So I went back and made
It's-
I copied it in a different color and made copies and called him and asked him, could I have my son to drop them by the
Yes.
next morning? And he said, well, I texted him and he said that would be fine.
Plenty of ways to
But
do
I'll
it.
be up on this for the next.
Either way, you can't screw it up. I promise, Mr. Branford.
Okay.
You're
One,
good
one
with it.
point of clarification, Dr. Brown created
Oh.
that landing page
Yeah.
and the policies
Oh.
for us to be able to cooperatively work on our policies, which you all know is one of the most important things that this board is assigned to do. So that is going to be a main focus for us this year.
It's the
And
foundation
it
of the
is-
school
it is-
district.
It is the foundation of our school district, and that is going to be a main goal for us this year.
and this was created to help us move through this process.
Yes.
So new board members, old board members, I'm just suggesting, pay attention when it comes out, because we've got 2 weeks to respond, and we're helping our meetings, so we're not having so much discussion. We'll have minimal discussion. I mean, that's kind of was the goal, to kind of move these things forward, because it's an ongoing project, correct? I mean, every year you're gonna have policies. This never goes away. We don't do it one time, and, then we think we're done, because we're not. So, it's a great tool. I'm excited about it. Thank you
Well,
so
if we
much.
can refine it or-
Everyone involved, thank you so much.
Absolutely. If we can reinforce it or refine it in any way to help everybody out, we can definitely do that. I appreciate that, Ms. Hopper.
Any other questions?
I have
During the first
one
reading?
other question. On page 2 of EEA, at the top,
Yes, sir.
where it says it's the duty and responsibility of the person in charge of the particular trip to see that students in his or her care have ways to get home. It says especially at night. I just wonder if that should be changed to at all times. I know it's more dangerous at night, but in today's world, it's as dangerous in
Sure.
the day as it is at night.
Hmm. Absolutely. That wouldn't be. Can make note of that. Yes, sir.
I mean, I know what you're trying to say, especially at night, but that's, somebody without a way home during the day would be,
It's on the second page of EEA,
Page 2 of E EEA.
student transportation.
Which paragraph?
It's the first,
top, very top.
the first sentence.
I didn't care for the word "to see." That's how we all speak, but the person in charge of the particular trip to see that, or to make
Facilitate.
certain that students in his or her care have ways to get home, because we can't really see it. That's picky, but.
Yeah.
and I
DJ
think-
can work on the wording on that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
And one other thing, right below that, under bus scheduling and routing, where it says the district will establish bus routes throughout the district to best accommodate the majority of the students. That majority, should that be changed to all students?
Yeah, we could. I guess it'd be students that are, majority of students eligible for school bus transportation. We could look and see for sure about that.
Well, no, what that's referencing, Coach, no route's gonna be perfect.
Right.
Like, there's no way to, so if you said all there, you, there's no way for it to be best for all, because ultimately, the software is gonna spit out the most efficient way to do it, and we have software.
But you're
through-
gonna accommodate all
You're
the
gonna
students
accommodate
that
'em.
you can, not just the majority
But
of the students.
you're gonna accommodate them, but it doesn't mean it's gonna be, I think the wording there is meaning that they're gonna do the best we can to accommodate everybody.
Right, all
as
of them
pleasantly
instead
as
of
we
the
can.
majority.
Um,
I mean, you don't wanna get to 51% and not try to help the other 49. If there's a way to help more, you probably can't do 100%, but to get to a majority and stop.
Yeah, I think there's probably just a better way to say that.
We can probably, I'm thinking
word that a little differently.
yes.
put a question mark.
Could even say the students eligible to ride the
Yeah.
buses. I could
Yeah.
see how we could be worded a
Yeah.
little bit, fine tune it, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions during our first reading? We'll have our second reading in March, so
Yes, ma'am. March 9th.
if that's it, then this concludes the first reading.
All
Our
right.
policies. Thank you so much, Dr. Brown.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, so our last item of business, last but not least, is operations report with the building projects update with Mr. Jason McCraw.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's the first time I've ever said that in my life, so how about that?
Appreciate that.
Pretty neat to say that. So, Dr. Smith, members of the board, I'm going to pass something out because that screen doesn't always give you the best example. So we can put it, if you need, like me, and you need readers, this helps. So let me pass this out real quick.
Thank you.
Sure, I get a copy of the report, but no cookies. I mean, wow.
Just remember that when bonuses come out, Dr. Smith. Just remember that when bonuses come out. All right, so it's what, 8:09? We're gonna try to get out of here by 10:09. No, I'm kidding. We're gonna move rather rapidly, but this is an exciting time, obviously, with the passing of the referendum in November. $140 million doesn't go as far as it used to. So we're working to figure out how to get the absolute most out of that referendum as we possibly can. And so we have 3 major projects, as you all are well aware of. So we're going to spend some time tonight looking at each one of those. You'll see a lot of things that are a little bit repetitive because the process is the same as you go through the SD into the DD phase, which we are now currently in. But there's a lot of good news as well. So we'll work through this. It's about 25 pages. Shouldn't take too long. If I can figure out how to operate the mouse. I'll use the mouse. All right, so New Prospect. If you remember at New Prospect, we're going to have some additions and some renovations. Best news so far is a schedule update. Tentative start date, we're looking at June to July of this summer. And after meeting with the GC, we're looking at a 1-year build. That is a full year ahead of what we had originally thought. Now, that means that we've got to check a lot of check boxes and things have to go smoothly from now until June or July. But y'all, this is huge. This is really, really important. So that's some great news there. Because 2 of my biggest heartburns about New Prospect are how we feeding the kids and how they get to play on the playground. So with this being the case, if we can do this in 1 year, guys, we're looking at only have to worry about bag lunches or food truck at New Prospect Elementary School from spring break of next year to the end of school. That's much better than a school year or a full semester of trying to figure out how we're going to feed kids without a cafeteria before the new cafeteria is ready. So this is excellent. This is why this schedule change and hopefully a year ahead of time is so critical, because we're going to be able to work with our food service provider to figure out how we're going to get these kiddos fed. So that's exciting. Car line and bus loop will be changing, which will impact arrival and dismissal for a short period of time. If you've been to New Prospect before, you know that it is tight. There's very limited parking at New Prospect Elementary School already. So we're changing the car line and bus loop drastically. We've got to get cars off Highway 9. It's a train wreck over there in the morning or in the afternoon, so we've got to figure out how to get those cars stacked with the proper stacking. We've got that plan already in place. But you got to check boxes. You got to check it with Civil. You got to check it with SCDOT, our traffic engineer. All sorts of people are being involved in all of these decisions that we have got to make and get to before June and July, and we can actually start construction. So our plan is to open school year 27-28. Again, that is a full year ahead of schedule. That is excellent. So excited about that. So kind of give you an idea of what we've been doing throughout the SD and DD phases of all these projects, and this is something that you're going to see that's going to be similar on all three, is we've been talking about our different departments in-house and getting feedback and having meetings and discussions with each one of those. First and foremost is safety. How we're going to have access control. That's what doors are fobbed, how people are going to gain entry, weapons detection. And you know, we're talking about elementary schools, but we got to be prepared for if y'all decide we want to have weapons detection at elementary schools in the future, where we're going to put them, how we're going to make it work. So we've got to make sure that our decision making gives us the ability to do that in the future. How much glass is going to be involved? You know, people see glass and they think, well, that's not as safe as it used to be. Architects like glass. Chief safety officers like Officer Harmon, not so much. But we've got to find a happy medium with those. And then fencing as well. Fencing needs. We don't want to make our schools look like prisons, but we got to keep them safe. All right, we got to keep them safe. Technology. Casey is the expert in that, and he's been vital in these conversations that we've been having, but about drops and where do we need to put drops? Where do we want teachers' phones, printers, those type things? Where do we need to have data closets? There's a certain amount of linear feet that we can run data cable. We got to make sure we place data closets in the appropriate locations. Audio visual. You know, as we update New Prospect, we're going to change the audio visual in the gym. So all of those things. He's very involved in access control. And then with the Promethean panels, he is also very involved with the teaching area. One of the things that we're going to look at moving with New Prospect as well as OP Earl and Mabry, you know, we've placed these Promethean panels on carts to make them mobile. It gives teachers flexibility. But guess what we found out over the years through visits and curriculum? Once they find the place where they want it, it never moves again. It stays there. Well, guess what Casey informed me of about 3 months ago, and I about fell out of my seat. Don't y'all fall out of your seat, all right? The cart cost as much as the panel. So we're going to mount those things on the wall, make them slide up and down, but that's it, because once they're there, the teachers are going to keep it there anyway. Mr. Johnson, you're a teacher. Wouldn't you agree with that? So we've learned a lot, and that's why it's so important for us to have all of this departmental input that we're having. Curriculum, being involved with teaching areas, furniture. We had about a 45-minute meeting today, myself, Ms. Center and Ms. Driggers, about furniture in classrooms and what a classroom layout looks like. Operations, custodial closets are big. We got to make sure we have enough custodial closets, and custodians don't have to walk a half a mile to get a mop bucket if there's a spill. Mechanical rooms, HVAC, plumbing fixtures. One of the things that Craig and all of his experience and wisdom is many times he walks into a restroom and the water's just running because the kid's not strong enough to cut the water completely off to get the water from running. That water's costing us. So we're talking about putting in metered faucets where the kid can press it and it only runs for a short period of time. Now, as an adult, I despise those things. Okay, I really do, because I like to wash my hands, and I don't feel like I ever have enough water. But you can push it again, you know. But all of these are things that are conversations that we're having that are going to make us better. Obviously, the administration, district level and school level, are having input about classroom layouts, locations of classrooms. Where do we need sped classrooms? Where do we need sensory rooms? Where do we need to put an assistant principal office? And as well as teacher preferences. So all these things have been going on over the last several months and are really starting to ramp up now. Progress. Currently working with civil engineers and surveyor to get all needed measurements to start moving dirt. We want to start moving dirt as soon as we can. I do know that I went and spoke to the School Improvement Council this morning at New Prospect. And they were super excited about this, and I know Mrs. Wright wants to have a groundbreaking before school gets out. If we're going to start this in June or July, let's paint up a gold shovel and let's stick it in the ground and have a groundbreaking in May. So she's really excited about that, and we're pushing full steam ahead to get that done so that we can begin to move dirt as soon as possible. Just last Thursday, I received the initial traffic survey. I submitted the order with Mike Ridgway and Ridgway Traffic Consulting. He's a state vendor in the state of South Carolina, based out of Columbia, for all three of our projects back in October, just to be ready. It took him this long to get New Prospect because it is so different. It's already existing. It's on a major highway in number 9. There's a brand new traffic circle a couple hundred yards south. There's a major 4-way stop a couple hundred yards north. So this one is very, very important. And he, as well as SCDOT and our civil engineers, are working closely. We still got to work out a few details to make sure those bus lines and car lines work appropriately. You got to have sight lines. You got to have so many feet of distance between each driveway. So we got a ways to go, but it's exciting. We at least got that initial report last Thursday, and we exchanged some emails today, actually. We also have some environmental engineers coming out in the next couple of weeks to test the soil around the underground fuel tank that is on site. We have a 15,000-gallon underground fuel oil tank that powers the cafeteria and that hallway that we are going to demolish on site. That's rather big. So we've got to make sure when we get ready to remove that the soil samples around it, there's no contamination, those type of things. So we're trying to get ahead of that because, again, we want this thing to move fast. So there's a lot of work that we're trying to do on the front end of that. Just want to kind of give you, and not many people have heard this. If the architecture firm's watching, Michael's going to kill me, but that's okay. He hadn't even informed his team yet because it's such a big deal. But construction manager at risk is, what's the point of us doing this CMAR versus design, bid, build? So you can catch all the, what? What's the point of this versus design, bid, build? Trying to catch problems? Won't do it in a year. Mitigate what? Mistakes. Get the best practice, prices, waste, all sorts of things. So the architect firm designed all this stuff, and this is our rough draft, basically. SD, first shot at SD. So presented them to our construction company, GC, for this project at New Prospect is Thompson Turner. They sent it out for pricing, came back and said, woo. Now, rest assured, we haven't told them what our budget is for New Prospect, but they know we got 3 projects, a brand new middle school, a brand new elementary school, and a renovation. They've done this enough. They know what price point we're looking at, okay? So when they sent them out, they were like, whoa, that's a little bit higher than we were expected. So they were able to send some changes, some simple changes to us and say, these are some things that we need to work on to see if y'all are okay with. So we met as administration, we met with the principal, all those people on the couple slides ago, and we talked about some of those things. But that is exactly why we chose construction management at risk for this process. So we've changed, roughly already cutting $4 million in costs, but we haven't changed a lot. We've made minimal changes, and some of them, I will tell you that the school administration is like, thank you, I'm glad you did that. I had a little heartburn about how this was going to look. A couple of things, roof adjustments. Currently, the new part, except the cafeteria, would be a standing seam pitch metal roof. Okay, they came back and said keep the cafeteria low slope roof, which is flat, but also make the kitchen area a low slope roof, which is more flat, so they can sit units on top versus having to put them on the ground. So that was a savings, not necessarily that big of a deal. The rest of the school is already low slope anyway. Hallway adjustment. One of the biggest heartburns we were going to have at New Prospect is we were going to have to completely demolish the mechanical room, which included the mechanical system, HVAC for the entire school, new part, as well as the riser room, which is a sprinkler system. So we've adjusted the hallway, which is going to allow us to keep that existing mechanical room and riser room, which in of itself, I was told, is about a $2 million savings. So, again, this is the benefit of how we're doing it, and I am thankful for it. You know, we had talked about moving it to 8 classrooms, 4 kindergarten classrooms, 4 primary classrooms. 2 of those were kind of ad alternate, 2 of the 8. They told us you need to go ahead and cut those 2 alternates off and have 6 total classrooms instead of the 8, 4 kindergarten, 2 primary. Again, all these things are saving us money so that we can get the best bang for our buck. And lastly is the playground. If y'all remember the photo outside, the board, we have an elevated blacktop, which is a basketball guy. I loved it. It's set beside the old gym. It just looked really good. Well, if you elevate all that, that means you got to have what? You got to have field dirt. To hold the field dirt, what do you got to have? I'm quizzing y'all tonight. Y'all got to wake up. Retaining walls. You got to have retaining walls. You got to have switchback sidewalks for ADA accessibility. There's all sorts of things that you've got to do. That was one of the concerns that the school administration said, how am I going to have a couple teachers up top and a couple teachers down low? How are we going to navigate the duty part of it? So let's get it all on the same level. So that was one of their suggestions as well. And that's kind of, those are some of the changes that's already been made. You can't see this. You might be able to see it in your document a little bit better. But these are, those colors are talking about those changes that we are wanting to make ahead of, you know, right in the middle of DD before we get to the actual construction documents that we're going to be needing in the next several weeks to get this project going in June or July. So that's just a visual representation of those changes that we're talking about. One of the things that I need y'all to know, and I told the School Improvement Council, is basically New Prospect's going to be a brand new school. We're going to update lighting. We're going to change the front office, make it a secure vestibule. We're going to sprinkle, the whole school's going to be sprinkled with the fire system. So we're going to add a set of group restrooms upstairs to the existing part. I mean, New Prospect is going to be basically a brand new school when we get finished with this renovation. So we really, you know, we're getting 3 schools here for that referendum that was passed in November. So exciting, exciting times. Any questions on New Prospect? Yes, sir. Well, we had, if you remember, we had built it we planned years ago. Before Dr. Smith even became superintendent, we had talked about those 8 classrooms. And originally those 8 classrooms were put in there before we had even talked about moving what? 6th grade. So with us moving 6th grade out of New Prospect, Holly Springs, when the new Mabry is built, 2 classrooms is still going to give us plenty of room to expand. Truthfully, when we initially move in and we get let's say when we get the 6th graders moved to Mabry, so we're talking, maybe school year 29, there's a good chance that we won't even utilize those upstairs classrooms, and everybody will be on the first floor until we grow back into those upstairs classrooms. So it's we have plenty of room to grow. Moving those 6th graders are going to allow us to go. Because when we started having this conversation again, 6-7 years ago, we were talking about keeping the 6th grade there and needing those 8 classrooms. So that's the point of it. Yes, sir. All right, keep right on rolling. New construction. A couple of things that I want y'all to keep in mind. This is for me. I want y'all to kind of feel my heart, as well as I've shared it with others in the room. Dr. Smith, when we think about some priority concepts with new construction, first and foremost is safety and security. I'm sorry. I believe that with all of my heart. A kid's not going to learn if they don't feel safe. And that comes in a variety of shapes and forms, but that's most important. Number 2, instructional spaces. We got to make those instructional spaces welcoming. We got to make them excited, new. The kids have got to want to come to school. All right. I know this. My kids were dying to go to school. It may have been because I put a shovel in their hand, but they were dying to go to school. I'm kidding. They were really excited about coming back to school. Can you imagine what it's going to be when we start building these new buildings or these new wings, how excited these kids are going to be? I'm going to go ahead and tell you, when y'all see Mabry and what I saw last week, the 2 high schools are going to be mad. They are going to be mad because it is unbelievable. But instructional spaces, special ed department, all right, we've got to take care of our most vulnerable students. So we've got to keep SPED in the one of those priority concepts. CATE and STEAM, even in elementary school, middle school, we got to keep that in mind. We got to prepare our students, as Ms. Center said, for the profile of a graduate and what they can do as a career once they get out of school. Academic arts, collaboration areas, that is big. When I got into education long time ago, collaboration wasn't that big of a thing. You taught your kiddos, you got the results out of your kiddos, and you moved them to the next class. Collaboration is big, and that's one of the things that we're talking about in these new constructions as well as community spaces. Like when we have community events in our schools, we want them to feel welcome. We want them to feel safe, but we also want to be able to shut a door and not give them access to everything else in our building. So we're designing these schools with those things in mind. And then lastly, value engineering. Let's get the best bang for our buck. Okay, and if we're talking about, what type of brick, are we talking about precast walls? Value engineering is big. So those are some of the primary concepts we look at as we go through new construction. So now we're going to look at our 2 new builds. OP Earl. All right, super excited about OP Earl. I'm going to show you some pictures. This is from the front side, like if you were standing on Fairwinds, the more south section of Fairwinds. This is what OP Earl is going to look like. And so the top picture, if you see the very top picture, there's 3 pictures here. That top picture is if I was standing directly behind, opposite of where I was in that first picture. This is what the rear of the building is going to look like. The middle picture there, that picture is if I am standing at where the Aldi is. Let's say that direction, okay? The Aldi and Landrum. If I was standing at the Aldi and Landrum and looked to where the new OP Earl is going to be, that's what I would see in that middle picture. And then the third picture is if I'm standing on those ball fields or near those ball fields that the county is going to put in cooperation with this project, this is what I'm going to see from that viewpoint. Just wanted y'all to see those. It's exciting. The design looks really good, and truthfully, this design hadn't changed much from the SD to the DD phase, because the design firm really did a great job on this one. Again, not going to be able, I don't think my mouse is going to work like I want it. Maybe. Can y'all see the mouse? Barely. So this portion down here, just want to kind of give you an idea. This is the bottom floor. This portion is the first floor. This is going to be our kindergarten and 4K classrooms. In this section, this yellow is our front office portion of the school. And then we move over here. This is our media center in the turquoise. And then we have first and second grade hallway up top there. Okay. To the next picture, this is our, again, first floor. This is our guidance. So if you look just north, kind of where my mouse is on the screen, that's the front office. This would be the guidance suite here in yellow. In green is the cafeterium with the stage. And then down here is our multi-purpose gym. And then this would be our art and music classrooms in close connection with the stage for performances. All right. And this is the second floor. Second floor, you're going to have third and fourth grade. And then you will have a third and fourth, third, fourth, and then fourth and fifth is kind of in there with some auxiliary spaces. We've got self-contained classrooms spread out throughout the entire building. We have maker spaces. We have science labs. And we have collaboration spaces. So this is what it's going to look like. And again, I just wanted you guys to have an idea. I think some of you may have seen this already, but I'll be happy to meet with anybody and share these with you, and we can sit down and talk about them if you want to. So progress about OP Earl, we should have a closing date on that property soon, hopefully by March the 1st. Everything's just trucking along with title work and all the plats and surveys that are having to take place. So hopefully having that in the next couple of weeks. We are working with a similar set of civil engineers and architects to move the school further off the road. This is one of the things that we found once we got the topography of the property, was if we move it about 300 feet further off of Fairwinds, we get more level ground. Save money. More level ground, less dirt to move. Well, guess what? When I showed that to Dr. Smith, he was like, I like that better anyway, because if you move it further off the road, that gives you a sense of what? Safety. It gives you a better safety barrier. There will still be some landscape and some things that you can see, and you can tell it's a school back there, but it just won't be straight on the side of the road like some schools are. So we're excited about that. That's actually going to save us some money in the long run. So the SD phase is complete. Now we're moving into the DD phase. We have met with food service and are meeting with the playground specialist and furniture specialist very, very soon. And if you remember, last year we piloted some elementary school furniture classrooms at OP Earl, so they already know what furniture they want. So that's exciting time. It will help us with stacking for cars. It won't really help us with buses because, your buses are what they're going to be, but it will definitely help us with stacking of cars off. I still think we're going to have right turn lanes coming from 14 into the bus, a right turn lane on our property and a right turn lane into the car line on our property, but we don't have to expand all of Fairwinds, to make it a 4-lane road basically in that section. Is fingers crossed. That's the preliminary report we're receiving. So that's a good thing. My only concern, just being full transparent, is if they're going to make us put sidewalks. Because it is so close to town, it's close to 14, but there's not a lot of kids that walk anyway at OP Earl. Currently, as it sits, even more in town. Now, with that new development going down the road, that may play a little bit into it. Haven't quite got that finalized just yet. I'm going to fly through these. I'm just going to put them, matter of fact, same things we talked about before. Safety, technology, curriculum, operations, administration, all those things taking place as we go through each one of these schools. So this is something I want you to kind of get used to hearing, because now the roles may change, but those people will be involved each time. Next steps, gather specific teacher input in the next few weeks. I've already been visiting these schools and they're excited already. Obviously, we can't hear or listen. We can hear, but we can't always abide by what every teacher wants. But we want to take the group and give them a voice so that we can apply some of their concerns and requests when possible. So we're real close to receiving our initial SD pricing to kind of know where we are in regards to budgeting. And if you remember, OP Earl's being built by J.M. Cope Corporation. Thompson Turner is building New Prospect additions and renovations, and Mabry, J.M. Cope is doing OP Earl. Yes. Greenville. Mm-hmm. And they have offices. They have offices elsewhere, which is the vast majority of everybody that we're working with. Mm-hmm. One thing I will say is, from the very beginning, OP Earl, when McMillan, Paz, and Smith put the drawings on the table for OP Earl, I know Dr. Brown, Mr. Loso, I think Miss Center were in the room, and when we saw the first set of drawings, we were like, yes. And I think I even told y'all that. Home run, like, this is excellent. Mabry not so much. But so there have really, y'all, we've changed some things. Like, we changed the orientation of the cafeteria and the multi-purpose room. There's been changed the location of the media center. We added another pitched roof. But it's really been very, very few changes from the SD phase to the DD phase with OP Earl. Not the case with Mabry. Okay? Any questions on OP Earl? All right, so Mabry. This is the front view, hopefully close to. Now, we all know these are draft forms, but this is the front view of Mabry from New Cut Road. This is what you will see as you drive by from Campobella towards Spartanburg on New Cut Road. As you look to your right, this is what you're going to see for T.E. Mabry Middle School. This is the side. So if you're coming up from Lyman to the red light at New Cut on 292, and you look to your left, that's what you're going to see on the top picture. Those are our three neighborhoods, we like to call them. The one to the right is the 6th grade neighborhood. The one in the middle, 7th grade, and the one to the left is the 8th grade neighborhood. Those 8th graders get further away from the office. They can get a sense of freedom. Those 6th graders are right there by the office, so we can lasso them if we need to. And then the picture with the buses, you know there's that small road. Is it Inman Road? Inman Road, with those couple small homes across the street there. That's the view you will see from Inman Road. That will be the entrance to the gymnasium, the athletic portion, as well as the bus drop-off. Okay? So what you see here is, if you were to come in this door on the left side of the picture, right here, that's exactly the door you just saw in the previous slide. Walk in. This is the gymnasium, the weight room, locker rooms for sports. This would be the PE locker rooms. The green is the kitchen. And then this is the cafeteria on the first floor. And then here you have the front office. This is the guidance suite. And then you have the nurses area. That's the first floor. This is the first floor as well. These are those three neighborhoods that I was telling you about. 6th grade neighborhood over here on the right. 7th grade neighborhood in the middle, 8th grade neighborhood on the left. On the first floor, we're going to incorporate our art, our auxiliary art, chorus, orchestra, and band. All of those are there, as well as some science classrooms and some self-contained classrooms as well. Second floor, just above those, second floor of those neighborhoods is basically a mirrored image of that. And then above the front office, to give you that beautiful view, as well as this is the media center. So the media center is going to be able to look out the front of the school and see Newcut Road. The volume of the cafeteria is here, so it will be a 2-story volume space. So super excited. We've come a long way, y'all, with this. I will tell you that I'll make a joke. Some of you may know Jessica Greer. She is a D1 product. She works for McMillan Pasden Smith. She got assigned to this project. She come in and she started presenting, and I just looked at him and I said, it took you long enough to find hometown talent. And so she has knocked the bottom out of this. She's done a great job. Super excited about her now being on board with Mabry. She went there. Her kids are going to go there. She's excited about being in. That's what we're trying to grow, right? So progress. It's taken a little while to get to this point. We've sent them back to the drawing board several times, but we really believe they're at a good spot. We just met on Friday. Really like the most recent progress that you just saw and the work of the design team. We have met with food service and are meeting with furniture specialists as well. Remember, athletics are going to be a part of Mabry. We can't lose sight of that. That's a whole different scheme from OP Earl or even New Prospect is athletics. Because you got a gym, you got a weight room, you got a training room, you got locker rooms, you have equipment that you're going to need. So that too will be a part as we continue to progress through Mabry. One of the things that's really, it's always important with anything that we do that's new is ADA accessibility though. But y'all know as well as I do how Mabry, and Dr. Brown can speak to it as good as anybody, how Mabry has struggled over the years since it's become a middle school with ADA accessibility. We've got buildings everywhere, hard to get to, rain, whatever. So this has really been a driving part to this as well. We want to make our kids that may be in wheelchairs, permanently or even short-term, be able to access all parts of the new Mabry Middle School. So we're super excited about that. Again, same things. These are our inputs. We're going to continue to meet. And the only one really difference here is we've added athletics to this when we talk about administration because it is an important part of Mabry. So next steps. We're a little bit behind OP Earl, but we're planning to gather specific teacher and athletic coach input in the next few weeks as well. And look to receive that initial SD and DD pricing to kind of know where we are in the CMR process. I didn't hold you an hour. I was close. It's a lot. It's exciting. It's a lot. So, any questions?
You said that about the athletics. That was my question. Is there going to be athletic fields on campus?
Yeah, okay. Great question. Right now, the plan is for them to be a football practice field. We've moved to the D-team model in District 1 with football, baseball C-team. So we are currently right now planning to have a football practice field. Obviously, there will be an outdoor space for playground. That's one of the things that right now, Mabry Middle really doesn't have a recess experience. And those kids still need to have a recess experience. So that's going to be a blacktop area connected to the cafeteria. So yes, that will be there. And hopefully with the purchase of some land, we won't have to worry about putting any other athletic fields there.
How far off the road is it?
I haven't seen that exact measurement yet, but I think it's roughly 280 to 380 feet off the road, roughly.
I'm just trying to figure out off the new front to the school from what's behind it when it comes to
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we actually talked about too. What about those kids that live right there on Inman Road? They just want to walk to school. We need to make it accessible for them to walk, but we got to be careful. Not if they can walk, that means everybody else can access our facilities too. You know, such beautiful buildings. We don't want to cover the front side with fencing, but the back side might have to have some fencing. I do know that the proposed detention pond for Mabry is kind of in that lower corner. There's a natural swell if you go by there now, so that's kind of where it's at.
Will there be any vehicle entrances on Inman Road?
There is no plan to be, no sir.
That's good, that's good.
For Mabry? Oh, I done forgot that number. 46.91. Don't hold me to it, but it's 46 to 48. I do not. I will tell you that this new school, as you see the drawings, is the same size of Landrum High School right now, square footage wise. Roughly 184 to 185,000 square feet. Two stories, correct. Two stories, and the day one it opens will have more kids than Landrum High School.
Quick question, the floor plan is just awful small. I only see one elevator, is that right?
That is correct.
So going back to the ADA thing, like you were talking about, that looks like an awful long trek to come up this elevator, down that corridor. I mean, if they're in 8th grade,
Mm-hmm.
that's a heck of a,
Just so everybody can see.
which I know elevators are expensive, but that's awful long road.
So it's gonna be hard for y'all to see the bearings. This is the elevator right here. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is the elevator right here. They put it in close proximity to the front office to give those kids, when they come in from getting dropped off, the ability to get on the elevator. First, come down and be close to the gym, come down to be close to the cafeteria. A second elevator can always be discussed, and it may be something as we work through this CM at risk process.
Well, it may not be needed, because I mean, like I said, I know elevators are expensive, but looking at, I get the logistics for the main floor and exiting and entering. It just seems like an awful long way. And the drawings can be deceiving.
Mm-hmm.
To come all the way down, turn and go across, if they're 8th grade. 6th grade, they didn't have fast, but
Yeah.
it just seems like an awful long way.
And that's something we can definitely bring up for sure and ask, because it may make more sense to slide it on the other side, closer to that 6th grade hallway where they just go up and they go straight down that hallway to the 8th grade wing. We've also talked about that with parking for teachers, where the entry point is going to be for teachers has been some concern as well.
Jason, is that a cafetorium where they're gonna have?
That is a cafetorium, yes.
So they'll have everything.
No.
For Opie Earl or Mabry?
It's Mabry.
Oh, Mabry.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Sorry. Yes. Here's the stage. I'm piecemealing it. Dr. Smith, this is the stage right here in this white area. And on the first floor, you have the close access to the music orchestra, so they can roll right out of their classrooms.
Okay.
Here you go. I knew I had a better picture. So they can roll right out of their stage in their classrooms and come right in this door, up the ramp, and perform right here.
Okay.
And the cafeteria is here.
That's in the cafeteria.
Just build the gap, give a certain number of feet for those students, how far they have to go for an elevator.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. And I'm gonna be honest, that'd be somebody way smarter than me. So, I think the second one would be, more of a convenience if it required to based off square footage. I'm sure that the architects would put it in there. But it never hurts to follow up and ask. And that's what I'll do, is follow up and ask. Is there a better place to put it? Do we need to think about another one to cover all the bases? And like I said, Jessica will be great. She'll give me that answer. Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask everybody to use their mic so we ask the questions, if you don't mind.
Well, that's one way to get them to quit asking
No,
questions. Madam
Okay.
Chair.
Just want to
I'm
make sure
teasing.
everybody hears the
All right,
question.
I
Very
got
good
one more
question.
for you. And
Okay.
with the stage, is that going to come equipped with sound?
Correct.
What about the gym?
Yes.
Okay.
At both, at Mabry, absolutely, yes.
Okay, because I know it's easier to put it in to start with than it is to try to add it later.
Correct. And OP Earl, that question actually came up just last week at OP Earl. We talked about, because they have a multipurpose room, it's a smaller elementary gym. They will actually have the microphone so that teacher could communicate. And then the cafeterium would obviously have all the bells and whistles of the AV. Good question.
Perfect. Mr. McCraw, will we have a schedule, updated schedule on OP Earl and Mabry for the building for the next meeting?
As far as tentative date to enter, sure. You're looking at 29/30
That's okay.
right now.
Yeah.
I will tell you, and is what I'm learning is both contractors want to get it done as soon as possible, because the longer it delays, the more manpower they're putting into it.
Right.
But so it's a balancing act for me.
We want to get it right.
To get the design firm and the construction company all working towards one. The design firm, takes a little while to design. Construction company's begging for plans. Give me the stuff. Give me the stuff. So it's a little bit of a balancing act. And, we're interviewing for the construction consultant this week that will help us as administrators in all three of these projects. So we put that out for bid last couple weeks ago. We narrowed it down to 4 to interview, and that's actually happening this week. A construction consultant will be chosen to help us navigate through this, because I'm a science teacher and a basketball coach. I love this part of it, but I'm not this, and I promise I'm giving my best, but somebody that has more knowledge than myself or Craig or Dr. Smith or anybody else is going to be able to give us valuable insight so that we get the best bang for our buck.
Well, we're going to be great stewards with the taxpayers' money, and that was necessary and I thank the board for allowing us to be able to do that. Jason has done an outstanding job putting this together. And I want y'all to look at his team. His team's sitting right behind him. And we pull everybody because we have a small staff, but everybody in this room has contributed to that, but he's taken lead and he's just crushing it and doing a great job with it. But it will be nice to get some additional help on it as well.
With that person, are you looking at a firm or an individual? And
We are interviewing both types. Whatever fits us best is what we will go with. And questions about what they can offer and how they're going to spend time with us to really be bought in on our small district projects is going to be very, very important. We posted on Skibo. We follow all the procurement website. Skibo is what it's called, right?
We post it on Skibo, but we also post it on our District 1 page. So we follow the procurement policy in regards to how this is.
We had 5 firms, 5 individuals, 5 total submittals, and we're interviewing 4 out of the 5.
And I will say, Coach, to that, without having Kristen Hudson in the procurement position, this would have been extremely difficult for us to do. But with Lacey restructuring her staff a couple years ago to bring Kristen on board, amazing what this is going to do for us. It would just made it extremely more difficult to pull off. Now, I can guarantee you we're following that code and following it to the best of ability. But they're doing really well with it. Gave me an update on that today, matter of fact.
Yeah, I would be curious to know, this is just my curiosity, of how much money, since she's came on, that she has saved the district. I forgot what my building question was.
Well, you think about it, because I'm going to give DJ Dr. Brown another
Just
plug,
left me.
because he coached my son. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a basketball coach, and I love kids. And he does it as good, if not better, than I ever did it. And for him to do what he did for this year, for my son as well as those 14 other boys on that team, you know how much I think of you already. But I need y'all to know what type of man he is. Phenomenal. Not to say that these other people on our team are not. But
Well,
they didn't coach
he's
basketball
not
this
that great, Jason. He did lose tonight.
Well,
Just for the record.
My son might have had a large part of why they lost, but we won't go there. No, I'm teasing. You got your question?
I can add to that. I have already had 3 teachers from Campbell Grambling to tell me how much they appreciate you, Dr. Brown, and stepping up to the plate like you did. Yeah, now the guy that we're hiring, he will present at meetings sometimes too and give us
Correct.
updates.
Yes,
Okay, that was my
absolutely.
question.
He will
I thought
work
so.
in conjunction with me.
Okay.
You may hear from both of us. You may hear from one of us. But yes, absolutely.
Y'all will meet him, and they'll as this gets going, there'll be drone footage. There'll be regular updates. I would say monthly updates once we get rolling
Yes.
with all this. But it's exciting times, and thanks for the board's leadership in this area.
And anytime you want to come look at large prints, you got some spare time, you want to just call Dr. Smith, set it up, and we can lay those prints out, and you can really study them, because I know they're hard to see on there, but I did want y'all to at least have an idea of what it was going to look like.
All right. Any other questions?
Thank y'all.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. McCraw, for those updates. A year ahead of time for new prospect. That's really, really encouraging. Exciting to hear. So thank you for that. And thank you for the MVP of the night, Dr. Brown. And everybody else in the administration. And I love it that you were really pulling the entire team together to make sure that we just get the best out of every area and all the best practices in every segment. So I appreciate that. And Dr. Smith, thank you so much for a wonderful meeting tonight, and your staff and all the input, all the presenters. Thank you, fellow board members. You guys rock. You guys are pretty special. Give of your time and to support our children in D1. We appreciate you. So. And I am so humbled to serve as your Madam Chairwoman. and so I am looking forward to this year ahead, and I appreciate all the effort everyone has already given. So with that said, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right. Any other discussion? Any other questions we have? All right. School board conference that's right, the School Board Association starts on the 18th through the 22nd.
Please take your
Yes.
folder. Paula's got
Yes.
your folder. Please make sure you take that, and don't forget your bag.
All right. Any other discussion? All right. So we'll have we have a motion and we have a second. So all those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Ayes have it. Adjourn.